I come from a poor family, yeah. We ain't never had a lot, yeah. But the Lord been good to us, yeah. Now we riding on the top, yeah. I come from a poor family, yeah.
Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Boat, Builder of All Things podcast. It's a happy Wednesday morning. We are here at the shop in Kapolei, ATN. Richie, how's your morning going?
Oh, it's going good. I just walked into the shop this morning. I was just feeling thankful, good season to just, thank God for everything he's doing. And in the business, in my life, love, everything he's doing right now. And it's, it's a crazy season out there. Everything, COVID Delta on his way back.
Yeah, I just heard that. Yeah.
Everything's kind of creeping around and just thankful, man. Everybody's healthy. Some people I know personally, have caught it again or caught it for the first time. And so praying for everybody, but just, internally thankful, me and my family just got out of the dentist yesterday. I'm glad that I survived that. I mean,
I don't like going to the dentist.
I hate the dentist, man. It's just like, because, the problem is I always get like, they can't get my tooth numb. So they
really?
Just started, they just like needle after needle after needle. And
Can you feel this?
Finally, I'm just talking like this, just start talking like Rocky, Rocky Balboa on them. But yeah, they had to put the nitrous oxide gas, everything, man. I'm just sitting there and, for anxiety purposes, I'm listening to Friends in one of my AirPods, in my ear. And I don't know, nothing's working, man. They're just trying to drilling away. And I'm just like, raise my hand. I feel it. Yeah, they had to refer me to a specialist. They couldn't do it. So yesterday was just, full of, what do you call that? Novocaine in my mouth.
Full of experiences, guys.
Full of experiences.
Well, glad you're here.
Yeah,
glad
so
we're
thankful.
Here. Yeah, thankful. All right. So today's theme, guys, is going to be marketing. All right, marketing, the big M. What is marketing? First stream, what is marketing and why is it important?
Marketing. Yeah, we always hear that term, of course.
If
you're in the business world, marketing is fun. It's sharing. It's promoting. I try to look online for a good definition for it before. And this is what I like. This is one of my favorite ones. It's the art and science of strategic influence to get a response.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because that's ultimately you're trying to have a strategic influence to get a response, right? So, that's what marketing is. It's sharing what you have strategically, and hopefully somebody could respond to it. So
I like that compared to because I feel like term marketing has been more catered to like persuading nowadays, which it is at some degree, but that definition I like.
Yeah, and it's an art, that's why I think people enjoy it. You can be artistic with it. There's a science to it,
Yes.
So it is the art and science of strategic influence. So marketing, what is it? That's what it is to me. It's something. It's something you put together to share what you're doing, right? It's like, if you're like this podcast, right? Okay, we could just sit here and talk all day, but who are we talking to? Specifically. And then so we look at, okay, we got 1,000 views, over the week or over the month or over the long term. Do we want to like market or promote this to a level where we can get more listeners? And for that, whatever reason, it's like you don't want to do something for nothing, right? Especially if you're in a service or if you have a product you want to sell. It's like you want to be able to, like, what do I do to get more people to have this product? What do I get to open my services to more people? A lot of people kind of, shy away from marketing. It's expensive. It's its own work. Is that line up with what I'm doing? But I think at the end of the day, everyone needs to market in the market, right? Maybe I don't know. I didn't look at the history of the word, but it's like getting your word out in the marketplace. So that's like marketing, maybe. I don't know.
Well, when you mentioned that, when, everyone has to market, something that comes up to me is the thing that you always mention, which is like your employees are your assets. And so when you invest in something, you're expecting it to harvest something back, right? But it's hard to put faith in and trust in something like, a project, whatever you're trying to market out, because We don't know, like you said, there's a science to it. So there's variables, there's all these things that you need to think of. That's why they have marketing specialists, right?
Yeah. And it's super important. I mean, if you're going to keep doing what you're doing, I mean, let's talk about like what are like the favorite or terms I always hear is like word of mouth. It's like one of the best marketing things there is, which
classic.
Is true.
Yeah.
It's just classic, which is true. So people believe in that method of just do your work and the return will automatically come, which is true. True,
right.
you know, especially if you do a good service. But if you do one bad service, you know, there's always the rule of thumb that, you know, if you do a good service, you can get, 3 out of 10 will respond to that. But if you do a bad service, 9 out of 10 will respond to that. So it's like word of mouth can go both ways. If you just have, and not like we're going to always be perfect in what we do. Your product's not always going to be perfect. Your service is not always going to be perfect. Your representation is not always going to be perfect. So, you always want to be able to market, educate, do whatever you can to get your information out there. But it's very important for you to keep moving, in whatever you're doing. So yeah, I believe in marketing.
Marketing, the big M. All right, second stream, guys. How do I promote my business in a saturated market of contractors and competitors? Let me read that one more time. How do I promote my business in a saturated market of contractors and competitors? And so I think this can be relatable to a lot of businesses, and it's just not, it's just not construction or whatnot, but because there are services and products that are saturated. I mean, you take a look at Amazon. There's a bunch of different products, almost similar. It's almost the same blueprint, but how do you promote that? How do you promote your business?
Yeah, I am. I don't know if I'm a marketing guru, but maybe I am. I don't know.
Let's ask her, what's your experience?
That's all I can say is, okay, there you go. I can share what we've done. Looking as a contractor, we are in a saturated market, right? There's a lot of contractors in a small space, especially when you go to big cities or little towns. You're still competing against somebody, so especially big cities, it's like you look in the phone book and homeowners are probably like, oh my gosh. It's kind of like, okay, I'm all over the place. Sorry. Let's jump to Walmart, right? Okay. I remember I was walking in Walmart one time. My friend complained, like, how come there's so many choices? Like, he was so upset. Like, as a consumer, like, you go to Walmart and like, why can't we just have one corn? Like, why there got to be 10 different brands of corn? I don't know which one to get. Like, just give me one, Sam. And I'm like, who's Sam? And he's like, I would have talked to Sam. I'm like, who's Sam? And he was talking about the owner. He was asking. He was literally asking all the employees to talk to Sam about this. Like, I was just crying, laughing. But anyway, it is a saturated market in probably every degree, right? But, it's just everybody having a business, trying to survive, do their thing. And so everybody's marketing in different ways. And so, I think, for us, and especially in contractors and construction, this could be relatable across the board, but you got to find, number one, your purpose, right? Like, what is your purpose? What is your service? And how is that unique,
Right.
So when it comes to marketing in a saturated market, I really just paid attention. I think everyone just needs to pay attention to the market. So what I would mean by that is, I remember the first time, I was wondering, like, when I got the first call and I didn't know where it came from, I'm like, how did they find out about us? I was so excited, right?
Yeah.
So-and-so, you did their flooring and you did amazing. And they told me. So that was like the word of mouth. I'm like, oh, wow, like word of mouth. But, looking from there, I remember that same client did a review for us on Yelp. And she told us, hey, I reviewed you guys on Yelp. And I said, oh, cool. So I went and looked up. I was like, what is Yelp? I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But this was back in 2012.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know how long it was around, but I was like, I don't know what Yelp is. I'm not in the Yelp world. I was just we're first starting out. So go look it up, and she wrote this cool review, 5 stars. I'm like, oh wow, nice, awesome. But then I started getting calls from that one Yelp review. I'm like, oh, that works.
Yeah.
Right? That works.
Right.
And then so I was like, oh, do other contractors use it? So I was looking up all the other contractors, and I'm like, wait a minute. They got like 1 star. They got like 2 stars. Oh, I'm kind of standing out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this, I could see, I was paying attention and studying my market. I could see, wait a minute, homeowners actually use this. as a tool to find contractors. So that's like where you got to start. I'd say with number one is whatever your market is what are your customers using to find you? Yeah. Number one. So I went through a lot of seasons getting marketing happy, where I start investing in certain things. I'm not gonna put their names out there, but they don't work. You know what I mean? Just, I spend money here and here to get our name out there, to educate people what we're doing and let them know about us, so we can they can use our services. And we wasted a lot of money in certain areas, but as we grew, we really paid attention to where do homeowners go. If you're a homeowner, what are you going to do? You're probably going to search on Google, and then what are the top things that pop up on Google? Is probably like Yelp and certain things that guide you to these contractors. So you just got to pay attention to what homeowners are you doing. Like if you're going to invest in a magazine, make sure it's a magazine. Getting your advertisement in a magazine. Make sure it's a magazine that's for your trade, and and also that will look in there specifically for your service. Or if you're going to do TV, like I want to invest in a TV commercial a while ago, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, but now it's probably a better season to, because of the type of service we're providing and the type of homeowners that we sitting there watching TV. So you got to really look at, the market and what homeowners are going to. So when I started looking at Yelp, I was like, man, what if we had like 10 5 stars? I said we'd really stand out, because that's what you want to do. You want to be able to stand out compared to the other competitors. So I started telling homeowners, hey, however you feel about our business, can you just leave a review? And I really had confidence in our service, so I wasn't scared of a review. I wanted them to give their true input, because I knew
it was 5 stars.
I knew it was good. So. If you really believe in your product, I think Yelp or different type of sites like that I like Yelp, because I will go down this kind of lane real quick. What I really like about Yelp, what I learned later, is it's a valuable response from a homeowner. Because if you try to get people to put something on there that's not genuine or relevant, or there's an algorithm in Yelp that will remove it. I think we have 10 5 stars. They are good, by the way. They're authentic, but because they've never Yelped before, or that's their first Yelp, or they repeated my name or certain things too many times, they remove it. But I like that. I like that it makes it difficult to get it on there, right? I like the algorithm, even though we removed 10 of our 30. That would have been 45 5 stars, right? If we had kept it. But for contractors, getting up into the 10s, 20s, or even 30 reviews period is a lot. So we're working really hard for that. And it was a good response. We know that's the market. People they're going to look for contractors, and our stars were above, so they would reach out. But then there was a point where even Yelp wasn't the best marketing tool for us anymore. We're all gonna, depending on what service you're providing, we're providing new home construction now, and additions or big huge remodels. So somebody calls just for flooring, which a lot of Yelpers that go on there, they're not looking for new home construction. They're looking more for home renovation, kitchen remodel, these certain things. We're still on there, but as far as the homeowners that reach out to us now specifically, we just refer them to the best builder at this point, which is great for another builder. But I guess what I'm saying is, to complete this question, how do you promote your business in the saturated market? You got to stand out. You got to be unique, and you got to believe in your product. You got to believe in your product, and so when you stick true to your product and you believe your service is really going to help people, then you're not worried about, online accountability across the board. Like, we loved online accountability. Our whole service is to build trust in a homeowner and deliver, right? So building trust is huge. Yelp was huge for us. That was a great marketing tool, but you have to be unique. You have to be able to stand out, be unique, and find a way, study the market. For me, contractors, I think Yelp was a good one, because why? In construction, homeowners have a hard time trusting contractors. So what do you got to do? You got to build trust. So if you're going to market yourself, you got to market yourself uniquely. How can you trust me over the other guys? And that's then crazy, right? And for us was online accountability, whether it's Yelp, website, BBB. We just put ourselves everywhere. We saturated ourselves online. We got ourselves even a place of business, so you can come knock on our door. We just wanted to build trust, and that was the art and science of our strategic influence to create a response. Is we understood what's the need in construction. What is the need? Trustworthy person who's skilled enough to do my job. We're skilled, but how can we build trust?
Yeah.
Right? Skill, we post pictures. And when I say post pictures, don't be posting pictures that you can't see nothing. like it's just all dark, and you got to be very like strategic with your picture posting. Like I see on Instagram, you go look at our pictures, we pay for really good pictures posted. I mean, it's worth the investment for marketing your product, you know, in construction. If you're doing something, let people see your skill, right? If they don't see your skill, how are they going to know what you do? You know, if you're selling a product, make sure you take a professional picture of your product and post it. You know, I remember there's a day I used to post everything, but then I realized it's not strategically showing what we can do. So I got rid of all my like self pics. Not when I say self, not of me, but the pictures that I took of our product. Is like I started slowly removing those because, you know, you can't see anything with my old phones. Nowadays, the phones are a little bit better. Take advantage of that tool, right? You know, you get better product pictures, but promote your skill and promote your trust as much as possible. And I believe that's how you separate yourself from a saturated market. There's a lot of people out there that aren't even advertised. They think putting their business name on the shirt with a little phone number is a strategic way. Not strategic. That's the thing. I think that's the way to market. But we don't even put the phone number on our shirts because really, you got to squint to see those phone numbers, and you got to write it. That's just too much work.
Right.
People are like, how come you don't put all the information on the van and on your shirts? I said, our shirts aren't business cards; they're billboards. Ooh.
Don't drop that mic.
Big difference, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're branding. It's a billboard, not a business card. Because we did our very first shirt. If you look at the back of it, I promise it looked like a business card. I'm like, every time I see our guys walking around with it, I'm like, dude, I can't even read any of that. Like, that's just so it's so messy. You know what I mean? It's very messy. So I get it. People need to learn how to get a hold of you and all this stuff, but. You know, there's ways around that. But yeah, so it's how to separate yourself, how do you promote you're a trustworthy company, and how do you promote your skill? To me and for us, it was professional pictures anywhere we could, and then saturate ourselves online. Because if you're online everywhere, if you have a license, if you're under the BBB, if you're under these Yelp or AngelList or, you know, all these different places where they can give honest reviews about your company, you know, and then if you can establish yourself, like have an address, you know, those kind of things are important. That builds trust and gains a homeowner's trust, and that's what we want to do. We want to get a response to people who trust us. You know, if you're going out there and promoting yourself, like not all your eggs aren't out the basket. Homeowner's not really going to trust you, and then they hire you, and then you're going to have this trust issue relationship during your build, and we don't want that. We want to bring everything to the table. You see everything, you know who we are, and then we'll have a healthy relationship through the build.
Right. Man, there's a lot to unpack in that one.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to go too deep.
No, it's good, but there's just so many good things in promoting. One of the things that stuck out was like what stream are you going to go to, like promoting stream? And like you said, there's a science. You need to figure out what your customers are, where they're picking you up from, and what kind of things that are they missing in order to make that phone call. And like you said, that's trust, right? One of the, and something that I can relate to that is like for food businesses, Richie, I've always thought in my head, marketing wise, like, what you mentioned about believing in your product, that's like number one. You have to be in your A game with your product, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, because it makes no sense to reach out when you don't believe in your own product, right? But that's the first thing. So having that product, and the second thing is the marketing. So every time I think of like a food place, I'm like, if your food is good, I'm talking about like IG, you know, kind of food worthy businesses, right? Let's just say an ice cream shop. If you got great ice cream, you need to market it in a way where people can, you know, come to that. So in my head, I'm like, you have to have a spot in your ice cream place for an IG like background or backdrop. So that way it's, you know, it's fancy, it's whatever, but then you're utilizing all your streams of marketing. And so I was like, oh man, that's cool. You have to figure out what works in your department. And like you said, you need to figure out what your customers want and need, and that way they can make that phone call. Lots of science to it.
There's a lot of science, and like you're not always going to have a great experience, and sometimes people review a bad experience, you know, but it's crazy is that sometimes what people will think is a bad review sometimes could be a good review. So what do I mean by that? As long as you're honest and you skillful, sometimes homeowners are still not happy and they're going to want to complain.
I hear you.
Right?
I hear you. Yeah.
But sometimes when you read their complaint, that actually promoted us in a healthy way.
Even more.
It did. Yeah. There's sometimes like we have one Yelp review that's a 1-star. You can go look it up. There's, the lady said, I'm from California. I called to have my carpet done on the island. Nobody answered the phone.
Yeah.
And so I guess nobody answers their phone nowadays. So, and that's it. To me, it was like, so I responded, it's like, it hurts me to hear that you reached out and couldn't get a hold of us. Can you please share what number and email that you tried to use? Because we're open from these times. There could have been a time difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she didn't leave a voicemail or anything. So, I gave my response. She never responded back. But to me, that was a healthy way for me to promote. About maybe check your information, or maybe there's a time difference if you're coming from California. And I even said in that response, like, we're actually a business set up for people in the mainland to work, can do work. They can do their work here while they're in the mainland. So we're like perfect fit for you. I'm sorry we didn't connect, but here are the numbers and emails. So now if people read that review, now they have an opportunity to read my response.
Yeah,
I love it.
Builds even more trust.
Because 1-star is going to attract people, right? Like, wait a minute, why is this 35?
All eyes on that.
Yeah,
review.
they're like, wait a minute, I see one, I want to read that one.
Exactly.
So they jump in and then
that's your opportunity.
they read my response and they're probably like, oh man, I just marketed more. And I'm not scared of marketing. Marketing is very important because you want to be able to promote your business, man. You want to be able to promote what you're doing, especially if you believe in it and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Woo. All right, third stream, Richie. What are some principles in marketing that will honor God?
Oh, let's bring God into this.
Principles, because when I do think about marketing, I mean, there's ways you can entice. It could be, I wouldn't say unethical. That's kind of reaching, but
you got slimy tactics.
Yeah, slimy tactics. You got
manipulation.
STs. You got STMs. Yep. Slimy tactics, manipulations, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So marketing can get out of hand. Out of hand, and it could be very deceitful. The word. I guess this is. I gotta be careful. I don't want to put people on blast, but there is this Christian movie about David, and the commercial of it, they said over $5 million spent on this production. It's gonna be high production, all this kind of stuff, right? And so I pumped it up to my son Jordan, and it was like, hey man, we gotta watch this movie about David and Goliath. This is going to be awesome. They spent a lot of money on the production. It's supposed to be high quality. And I promise, man, this movie was filmed. It had to be filmed out of my high school theater, man, because they had this. The funniest part was they had there was not Jesus, sorry, but I think it's David and somebody were talking. I'm not gonna tell the movie. I know everybody's gonna want to know the movie name. I'm sorry, I just can't put them on blast.
See, this is how they promote their movie.
Yeah, it's working. It worked, bro. It worked. So it made everybody watch it just because it's so bad. So now they do got 5 million views, I'm sure, because it was just so. So there's this funny because. Everything they're wearing is like you found out of a closet in an old theater shop, right? First of all, but they're having a conversation in the desert or whatever. Two of the soldiers, and they got these like merchants in the background walking like they're going.
Okay.
And then the same ones walk back. And then so me and Jordan just started laughing because we noticed, and then they came back for a third time. We're like, they ran out of.
You gotta change your clothes, something.
Oh, they ran out of extras on that day or something. But it was just so bad. But anyway, the way they market it, they were marketing genius, but horrible production. But they truly believed in their product, I guess, and they spent a lot of. I don't know where that $5 million went. I guess is the. But to me, it was a little bit deceitful, right? It was a little bit deceitful. So, what are the principles of marketing that honor God? I mean, first of all, is marketing even godly? And I want to say, heck yeah. Jesus was the marketing genius of all time. He says, go and make disciples to all nations. I mean, to that, you could break that out in every single word, and it could be your whole marketing strategy. Go make awareness, right? You know, make disciples, educate them.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna, you know, bring awareness, educate people, all nations, that's an open market for them. He's for everybody. You know, some markets are specific, but some markets are for everybody. Like, you know, if it's food, it might be for everybody, right? Or if it's toothpaste, your market might be pretty big, you know. But if it's Tabasco, not everybody likes Tabasco, right? So
narrow,
you got to start, you know, looking for certain ethnic foods and, you know, people that, you know, like Tabasco. Or if it's beer, that's very specific, right? Or whatever you're trying to promote, there are specific and there are big ones. But Jesus was the marketer of all marketers, man. I mean, he had a message, he had something to give, and he used he is art and science, you know. But he was trying to influence a response for people to come to him. So you know. In all things, Jesus was a marketer in the Bible. So I believe marketing is a good thing. It could be, but it could be tainted as well, right? So slimy tactics. I mean, we see it all the time in emails like, "Oh, I just called you." I'm like, "You did?" I open up my email. I'm like, "Dang, they got me." Like I just called. You missed your call. That's a lie, right? You shouldn't be doing that, you know. And I get marketers calling the office saying, "I just got off the phone with Richard," and then they're like, "Wait a minute. Nobody calls him Richard." Right? So the girls in the front, they know, man. They, you know, they starting to learn, like, wait a minute, his name's Richie. Nobody calls him Richard. Like, we already know you didn't get off the phone with Richard. I just got off the phone with Richard Briox, you know? Oh, so, you know, there are tactics people use, and so I would definitely stay away. There are tactics you can use that are healthy, like when it comes to reviews, right? Sometimes one of our strategies is sometimes people need to vent, even though we gave it everything we had. And of course, it should be a 5-star review based on our effort. But somebody really wants, you can tell. It'd be different if they just wanted to give a review on us, but they're really ready to cuss us out for whatever reason. So we'll give them a survey from our online builder trend, and they can vent there. It's one of our strategies. Let them vent there, and then we'll give our Yelp response after. Say, hey, you know, thank you for venting, and then how we respond to that. And if you want to go public with your, you know, response, then, you know, you can do that. So there are different tactics we can use to help promote, but ultimately, you know, what I have 5 I want to share that we got to keep in our parameters when you're marketing. It's love, truth, humility, contentment, and service. So let's talk about
humility, contentment, and
service.
So
love, God loves all. That's like the number one thing that we got to think of is there love involved in what you're doing as a Christian and in business? Like, you know, he's out there to serve all people, right? So love has to be number one. What if you were the customer? How would you respond to that? How would your service, you know, I always think if I was in the customer's shoes, right? So how is love portrayed there in my marketing? You know, like how would they want to receive what I'm sending out, what ATN is sending out? Or what if you're even in music and you're trying to promote your music, you know, what if the other person is listening? That's like the first place you want to put yourself when you're marketing is like, you know, what would the listener or receiver or shopper or person who's looking for a service want, right? And then how do you feed that out of love? That's like, you know, is the service in their best interest? You know, so you got to really recognize your product and service, you know, as a Christian, especially Christian business owner. And if it's in the parameters of God, like you got to really start with, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Is it really promoted out of love? Are you really here to give a product out of love? Are you really here to give? I mean, it could be anything, man. And it could be connected because God is in all things. But, you know, you got to make sure your service is in the best interest of your customer. Truth. Is there any deception in your marketing? Right? You can't, like, I've failed in this a few times, and not anything online, but, you know, I have a sheet that has all of our employees on there and projected employees. And right now the bottom number says 40. So I was talking to somebody, letting them know, how many employees you got? And I said, we got about 40. We got 40 employees. And, you know, Tiffany later told me, no, we only got 35. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, we only got 35. But I keep saying 40 because my number says 40 on my sheet. We will have 40 when we're done hiring, but we don't have 40 yet. So
integrity,
yeah. So it's very important. So now, I make sure to check specifically how many employees we say, and I'm going to say 37 next time if we have 37, not 40. Or almost 40. That could be just. I guess that's more honest. I could say we're about to get 40, but I got to be careful, right? And I think it's the same thing in marketing. Be very careful, because what if a customer found out we only had 20? Not that we only have 20, but you know what I'm saying? That could,
the expectations are.
That could really change the game. It's like, when you go to Burger King or McDonald's, you remember you used to walk in and see these like fabulous colored pictures of the burger, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. And then they give you this like very thin
time, bro.
piece of paper with pickles falling out, and there's no mustard. You're like,
there was a video of a guy who was like, okay, we're gonna test this out, see if the burger actually looks like the thing on the poster. Most times it's not, and he's like, hey, it's not the same until they have
it's false advertisement.
Yeah,
bro. You gotta be careful with the picture promotion thing. So it's like is there deception, or am I over exaggerating? That's where I had to be careful, because I have big dreams, vision, and faith, so I speak those things. But then you got to be careful in marketing, because people be like, wait a minute, so there's a lot of times like I'll speak my vision and faith in the company, but I can't over exaggerate when I'm marketing. I gotta be super careful. You gotta be more specific when you're marketing. I think it's very important. I mean, there's a strategy in science. You don't gotta tell all the information,
right?
Because if it's not relevant, but if there's some relevance, make sure you're not over exaggerating, and there's no deception. And this is where I think everyone has to be super careful, and you could fall into accidentally.
Sure,
but once you recognize it, fix it very easily. Because you want to promote the best version of yourself, right? You don't want to share all your flaws, because then you'll never get work. So there are arts and science to it, and you got to build and strengthen yourself, but you got to be careful not to over exaggerate or promote any kind of deception. Deception is a big one. Humility. I think this is like one of my favorite things is especially in our service, because we're trying to find real solutions for people, right? We're really trying to educate homeowners, builders, or anybody, and we're always trying to manage expectations. And that's part of the humility in your business is to, you want to market, but how can you really educate and help somebody? How can you really find real solutions to help somebody? Whether it's, because you could be a music artist. Your music could really help somebody through a dark time. Can really speak to them. You could sell a product that's really needed during a dark time. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to always be a dark time, but I'm thinking of situations like a mask. You have a business in delivering a mask in the time we needed it when there was no masks on the shelf. You remember that? It was all of a sudden, you guys need masks. I'm like, there aren't no masks. Nobody sells masks. And all of a sudden, companies came together and had a product that could sell in a time of need. So there was a real solution there, right? Or whatever you're trying to sell, or whatever you're trying to do or promote, video, makeup artists, really beautify somebody to make them feel better about themselves and more confident to do what they have to do at the workplace or in a relationship or just out in life. There's so many different businesses and things and services we can do that can have real solutions and promote that. I think the humility behind of just being honest of your service could really help people, that they can feel that trueness. I think especially in our world today, they want to connect. We got to stop like the deception promotion, right? I think we just got to get that out of the door.
I think one thing that pops up, Richie, is when you say, we don't want deception, is you can provide, let's just say masks for whatever reason, but if you're giving someone a mask or trying to promote it, I think it really depends on your intentions, right? Are you really trying to promote it to help with their health, or prevent whatever it is, or are you trying to make money? So
that's exactly,
it's the intentions.
That's where service, the word service, does your business promote human flourishing or self flourishing?
Exactly.
So I think, especially for a Christian business and the principles, you always got to have a heart to flourish people. God will reward you. There's, I think in Ecclesiastes 11, Solomon says you could throw the bread in the water and it will return. It's Ecclesiastes 11:1, I think. And that's like a great wisdom, just letting you know, like, it will return to you. God gives to the giver, right? So your service, whatever it is, you always want to, have a service that helps flourish people. Us, like, if our heart is behind really changing the atmosphere of homes, building brand new homes. I mean, I love our service. It's a little bit easier for contractors. So, but whatever business you're in, if you're able to look at the heart of what you're doing, check yourself. Like if it's just there are reasons. Like if you look at the reasons people are in business, a lot of it's self-promoted. Like, oh, I need income. I want a better life for myself. I need income for my kids' school. I need it. There's all these like self things, which I get and are okay. And those can come back at you. But marketing will work if you're truly for the people. Right. If not, then you're almost deceiving people with your product for yourself. So you got to be real careful. Yeah. Real careful. How can I service people? And then contentment is like one of my last ones. Will having this product truly make you happy or the customer happy? Like, is there contentment with, just doing this? Does my marketing cost customers to spend more than they can afford? That's like a big one. That's like, shucks, especially in contracting. Contractors like to go over and beyond what homeowners can afford, and if they can't, they pinch all their money out of them, and then they're kind of stuck, then they'll leave.
So if you listen to the last podcast, that's why we said it's good to pair up with a contractor and the builder, right? Architect and a builder.
Yeah. So it's very, you have to be content with saying no, because you can recognize somebody, am I going outside of what I can afford, right?
Feasible.
And, and homeowners will share that. Customers will look at a product and say that's too expensive. Yeah. So we always got to work really hard on, making the product available, market in the market, competitive, always. But so you always want to make sure you're honest in your pricing. Very important. And does my service or product serve as a useful purpose? I think contentment in that, just knowing like, hey, whatever I'm giving out there, am I okay? Am I content with this as a purpose? So all those things tie in to biblical principles. Marketing is important, sending these things out, but I think we got to keep a parameter of purpose in what we're doing. And then if it falls into the Christian trying to market, I think it's a green light go. I think Peter, Paul, a lot of these guys in the Bible were promoting something they believed in, they had purpose for. They were,
100%.
There's a scripture here, Romans 10, 14, 17, I wrote down. Paul said to the Romans, how then will they call on him who they have not believed? How are they to believe in him who they have not heard? How are they to hear without someone preaching? And how are they to preach unless they are sent? It is as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news, but they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah said, Lord, who has believed what he has heard from us? So faith goes from hearing, and hearing through the word of Christ. So as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who go preach the good news. So, what is going to preach the good news? That's marketing. That's what he's doing. He believes in the product. Big time. He's excited about it. He loves people and he cares about people. So he's going out there to share that message because he really cares about their spiritual spiritual place, and has this good news about what Jesus did, and he's ready to go share it. He's ready to go promote this wherever he can. Go to all nations and spread the word. So he believes there's no deception behind it. He's seen the truth of this. He's seen what it can do. You know what I'm saying? So there's no deception in what he's saying. So he has full confidence in his marketing. He'll go out there and be a Jew to a Jew. He'll be the law to the law. He'll be whatever he can, but he's not being deceptive. He's saying, hey, I'm going to step into and here, I don't care if it's an aquarium store or wherever, hey, I can renovate here. You know what I'm saying? I believe in my product. I believe I see things falling apart in your aquarium store, and I can be a service to you. You know what I'm saying? I could fix the thing. I could tell customers aren't attracted to come in here and they feel unsafe because this thing is hanging. I'm an electrician. I can fix your pendant. I can go out there and market, but I'm doing it out of love, out of care, out of purpose. You see how Paul's response was, and humility. He was looking for real situations, real people. Who's your specific target,
Yeah.
right? Who are we? No, let's just not just open the market to everybody. Who's my specific target? He will go there and just educate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can go there and say, hey, I got the good news, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, now I got to educate you. Right. That's what I'm doing. I'm educating. If you don't put this light up correctly, this thing could fall. It could be a fire hazard. And I'm here. I see you have a need. I'm an electrician. I want to take care of your aquarium store.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I want to take care of your aquarium. I don't know why I'm saying aquarium store. I don't know what that is. Is there a true aquarium store? I just have this picture
we have
of
an
like,
aquarium Waikiki.
What is an aquarium store?
They sell fishes there.
They sell fishes. I don't know why I'm an electrician
At an aquarium.
at an aquarium store where there's a lot of water talking about power. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, make a long story short, man. I believe in marketing. I think you got to be specific to your market. Pay attention. Love what you do. Be honest. And remember, you're on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're on the boat, you don't have to worry about the return. You know, that's like, you know, but you have to do your part to get on the loudspeaker and shout to the people that are not on the boat to get on the boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, whatever the case is, you have to be able to communicate what you're doing. And if you don't do that, then how are you going to get people attracted to your business or to your service? And if we want to service people, like ATN, All Things New, we passionately want to change the game. We change the game for builders. We drastically want to service homeowners and give them that experience. But if they don't know about us,
how are they gonna know?
How are we gonna what we gonna change? What we're gonna do? How are we gonna help these homeowners? So, you know, if you believe in what you're doing, I say shout it to the mountaintops. Just be honest about it.
Yep, I love it. Yeah,
Cool.
Marketing. Themes marketing, guys. Well, it's a happy Wednesday, guys. Thanks for joining us. Once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us at atnhawaii@gmail.com. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. And if not, you can reach out to All Things Aquarium at hotmail.com.
Or message us on IG. I think we'd prefer that.
Yeah. I'm still tripping on the aquarium.
Right on, guys. Thanks for joining us on a boat. See you guys next week.
I come from a poor family, yeah,